What's going on, family? We are officially on the journey to 1 million subscribers, and my team and I are giving away $30,000 to help you pay off your consumer debt. That's right. 3E3 community members will each get $10,000 to wipe out their consumer debt. Now, do you want in? It's simple. All you have to do is subscribe to my YouTube channel and join my email list by going to anthonyoneil.com and clicking on the Join the Community tab. That's 100% it. Check this out. At 940,000 subscribers, we're surprising one lucky person live on my show with the first $10,000, and we're going to give that person a financial makeover before paying off their debt. So, before we get to today's show, hit that subscribe button and let's hit it 1 million strong before my birthday, July 1st. All right? Love you all. Let's get to the show. I want to get your thoughts on this. If your passion doesn't pay you any money,
that's okay. The rules that most of us are playing by were not written for us. And the rules that they wrote for us, they don't even follow.
The title of your book is called Rewrite the Rules, right? And so at the time of that podcast, you had a set of rules for your life.
That's right.
But then life happened, and then you rewrote your own rules.
The worst case scenario for me in that world was I lose it all and I gotta go live in my parents' basement. In reality, looking back, I'm like, honestly, that would have been a good life.
Welcome to the good life. We are good at dreaming. We are good at working hard. Mm-hmm. I think sometimes what we fail at is the method and the strategy.
I believe everybody is the boss of their lives. And if you're the real boss of your life, then you've got to have a plan. Like, you have to have a strategy, you have to have a plan, and be able to execute.
I think it was almost a year ago. And you did a podcast. I'm a huge listener to podcasts that I believe feeds me, that I believe gives me aligns with my vision. And man, I was listening to this one podcast, and you say you sit down with your not financial advisor, but financial planner. And they was asking like, hey, what are your numbers? Like, what do you want on a monthly basis? Do you want a chef? Do you want a car service? Do you want this? Like, what is this? What will your life cost you, right, on a monthly basis? And when you broke down that money and you add it up for a year, and then y'all get the math, they're like, all right, so you need this number at this season of your life that will give you that lifestyle. I love how just boldly you were about that. It was like, hey, I'm gonna probably need about $40,000-$50,000 a month. Now, to some, that may sound like a lot, but to me, that's not a lot of money, right? If I work at it now and plan for it, that's really not a lot of money. And so I want to go back there to start off today's show. Where are you with that? Like, are you still striving with that? You know, because things have changed since then. You're a beautiful mother now, amazing family. Like, where has your number changed? And then two, do you still practice that philosophy as far as in preparing for the future in that area?
My number has not changed. My number has been hit. I'm already there. So, now it becomes an exercise of what's ironic is that I actually didn't buy all the things that I said I even wanted to buy 3 or 4 years ago. Like, I don't have a chef, I don't have a driver. Like, I still just Uber Black everywhere. And the funny thing about life is that sometimes even the desires that you're like, even when I'm dreaming so big, some things, it just doesn't happen. Like, I think one of the things that I wanted was like a month in Europe. And now I'm like a month in Europe with a 15-month-old plus a nanny. I'm like, that's doing too much. Like, we go stay our black butts in Tennessee. Maybe we'll go to Martha's Vineyard. Okay.
Wow.
And I'll spend it there instead. But like, I think the exercise is an exercise that I do often. And what it has given me is freedom. It's freedom to now do whatever I want. And it's changed how I move through the world and the things that I say yes to.
Yeah. And I love that. And so that's interesting. Someone of your caliber, status, you and your family, you can afford to go to anywhere for a month. But to hear you say, we're not going to do that, even though we can afford it. Now, I know one of the reasons is because you have, a 15-month-old, which is, again, congrats to you all on that part. Let's just say you had no babies. Would you still go?
Yes. Catch me on a yacht in
Yo,
Croatia.
I hear you, yo. Okay, 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 okay. So let's talk about this. When your daughter, right? Daughter is a son.
Son, yeah,
Okay, okay.
son.
When your son is at the age that you two are like, all right, he understands yes, no, and we can enjoy the time away, would you still go or would you still not go?
I don't think I would go.
Mm,
When you have children, and all parents are different, so let me
yeah.
say, my child is my center of decision making in this
Okay.
season of life. And what's best for him is being around his family, our extended family, his
Let's talk
routine. He
about
goes to a stay and play every day and sings
wow.
songs and does art class. He sleeps, 12 hours a night. He's on his own little routine.
Mhm.
Could we go? Yeah, we could do it, but I'm not willing to do what it takes to fly across the country, fly across the world with a 15-month-old and run around with him. That's not gonna be a lot of fun for me in the way that I envisioned my month in Europe, okay? So, for now, we do different things. Like, we spend the money on different things, and actually what we're doing now is just putting the money in, higher risk investments vehicles because I'm like, "Well, this money was optional, so this is money that I am more or less willing to lose in exchange for the ability to get a higher return because I'm still very young at 35." So and my partner is 37. So, we still have a lot of life to live as entrepreneurs. He's also an entrepreneur, and we also have a lot of control over our income, and that has opened up my mind to another level. So, that's what's currently going on in this household.
I love that because the title of your book is called Rewrite the Rules, right? And so at the time of that podcast, you had a set of rules for your life,
That's
but
right.
then life happened and then you rewrote your own rules to fit the lifestyle that you have. But it's because, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's because you have the financial means to do so. And you've positioned yourself to do that, you and your partner now. And I'm like, I love that. The average person who watches me is about 24 to 25. I mean, 24 to 34, 35 years old.
Mhm.
It is a single African American Black woman. And I know right now they're excited to see you on this show because of everything that you've built and you've helped impact a lot of lives. If you could go back 10 years ago, um, and we know anyone who follows your journey, we know exactly. You used to sleep in your building sometimes. What would you do differently? Or if would you do anything differently at 24 years old with your finances? What rules would you rewrite for your 24 if you had to?
I took a lot of risk. I would continue to take that risk. I risked it all. I mean, I quit my job at a high paying, $80,000, maybe even $95,000 a year job at 24. Um, and I had a crazy trajectory working in Silicon Valley. And I quit my job to be able to have more freedom with my time and freedom with how I was spending my time to actually do work that I thought would matter. Now, the worst case scenario for me in that world was I lose it all and I gotta go live in my parents' basement. Like, that was, like, my worst case scenario. And in the moment, that felt like a terrible worst case scenario, like, "Oh my god," like, can you imagine? I went to college, I got this good job, and then I'm living in my parents' basement, like, that would be a disaster. In reality, looking back, I'm like, honestly, that would have been a good life. Your mom would have cooked for you 3 times a day. Like, you would have worked with your dad in some sort of medical clinic somewhere. Like, you would have been okay. So, I think that the fear of even the downside that I was managing was so much, like, mentally, it seemed worse than it really was at the
Mhm,
time.
mhm. Yeah. No, and I love that. One of the things I've always admired about you, which you talk about this in your book, and y'all, her brand new book, Rewrite the Rules, A Journey to Success in Less Time with More Freedom, comes out April 1st. I'm super excited about this book. I can't wait through. I really cannot wait to read this one. But one thing I've always learn about you through listen to your podcast and everything. You talk about something there that I think a lot of us really need to understand. And I literally have it up on my screen that I wrote it down. Master yourself. There's three main things that you focus on in your book: mastering yourself, mastering your method, and then mastering your growth. I want to start with someone who is saying, okay, wait, how do I honestly master myself? And what do you even mean by master myself? Because it's like if I'm trying to have financial freedom, how does master myself help me get to financial freedom? How does master myself help me get to that number
Mhm.
that I can do whatever I want to do with my life? And I think that's a huge. How do I say this for myself? The last 2 years, I've really had to master myself.
Mm.
I really had to step back and get an understanding of who I am. What are my desires? Not what are the desires that came from the world, but what do I honestly desire? And how can I master myself? So, when you say master yourself inside of your book, which you talk about it throughout your entire book, exactly what do you mean by that?
The rules that most of us are playing by were not written for us. And the rules that they wrote for us, they don't even follow. When we're seeing
Mm,
that in the political climate today, things that would be a no-fly zone where the rest of us would lose our entire jobs, our entire career, people are getting away with. And so how do you reconcile that? You know, you have to be able to decide for yourself what's most important. My son's right here. Hi, baby. Mom is working. You have to be able to decide for yourself what is your priority because I can guarantee you that the world is set up in a way that it's designed to tell you one thing, but the reality is something else.
yeah.
The faster that you reconcile that, the faster you're going to be in more control over how you're living your life
Uh,
and what feels good to you.
mm.
And I think that's what more people need to prioritize.
And I think one thing that people need to prioritize, and please correct me if you think I'm dead wrong. I think oftentimes, especially within our community, we are good at dreaming. We are good at working hard.
Mhm.
I think sometimes where we fail at is the method and the strategy. So we could dream, yo, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, but then we fail at getting a solid strategy that we can follow
That's right.
and executing that strategy. And you've bought several companies. I mean, one of the top raisers when it comes to money in this world. That didn't happen just simply because you had a dream, you had a vision, you had a method, and you talk about mastering your method.
Mhm.
Break that down in the book of how important is it to have a method and a strategy when it comes to building that financial freedom and really just building the dreams that you've been able to accomplish.
I believe everybody is the boss of their lives. And if you're
Hmm.
the real boss of your life, then you've got to have a plan. Like you have to have a strategy, you have to have a plan and be able to execute. It's not enough anymore just to have a goal or a dream or an idea. I see entrepreneurs every day that tell me, "Hey, I want your feedback on something, but you got to sign an NDA." Sign an NDA, baby girl. I can guarantee you that what your idea is not that proprietary, especially not at this stage if you're talking to me.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
let's just get to it, okay? Because what really matters is the execution. What really matters is having a framework and a game plan so that when things happen, because they will, you know how to manage that. You know how to manage that effectively and push forward and not get stuck. And that's oftentimes what happens is that people get stuck and they don't know what to do next. They don't know, should I quit my job or should I stay here and work on my side hustle? Should I use my discretionary income to hire someone for my side hustle? Or should I use my discretionary income so that I can have my kids stay in daycare a few more hours a week so I can have more time for myself? I mean, there's just a series of decisions that we're all making. And this book and rewriting your rules is about basically strengthening that muscle for yourself so that you can feel confident in the decisions that you make and move forward.
No, I love that. Let's give a scenario and break it down with your book. I'm gonna give you a good scenario.
Yeah.
She is 34. Her and her partner want to have a baby. They want to have a baby. And she sits down with her boss, and her boss says, "Hey, in the next 4 years, you could be a VP of the company, okay?
Mhm.
But you can't have a baby
Mm.
because if you have a baby, then you're gonna skip out on at least 6 months to 8 months because you'll be out on maternity leave and et cetera, et cetera." And it's literally happening. And I'm curious to see if she was sitting down with you on your podcast saying, "Hey, me and my husband, we sat down. We wanna have a baby in the next 2 to 3 years. but also I'm in a good position at my job to where I could go from making 80,000 to $150,000 of income. I can go from being a manager to a VP of a Fortune 500 company. But they're telling me I have to follow this track, and that if I have a baby,
Yeah.
it slows that track down. But we want the money. I want the title, but I also want a baby.
Look, it's a simple decision right there because having a baby is a period of time that's limited. It's not an infinite time frame.
Mhm.
So you have to prioritize what's most important to you. One of the things that I talk about often is living by these 6 pillars. And at any given point, you're prioritizing 3 of the 6. The 6 pillars are relationships, stability, freedom, money, wellness, and passions. So if your priority is family, stability, and maybe relationships with your uh or maybe it's wellness because you have to get your body right in order to get
Mhm.
there, then you're not prioritizing money. The problem in this country is that we have been taught to prioritize everything at the same time. That all 6, you've got to be doing a 10 out of 10 in every single one of those categories. And it's just not possible. And that is why everyone feels overwhelmed, overworked, burned out, and tired because they're trying to be a 10 out of 10 in every single category. You've got to be willing to put some things on maintenance modes for different seasons in your life.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that. And I told her the same thing because she was like, "Hey, we're stressing about finances." And I said, "Well, what would you rather stress about, finances or not having a child? You can get the money back. Money is coming with the right strategy. You can get the money. But I would sit down and have that. If that's a part of the relationship, like you said in your 6 pillars, I would get that, and you can get the strategy for the money for the wealth
That's right.
building, because I think there's a certain kind of there's a certain level of joy that comes from doing what you desire, not from what your boss tells you to do. Yo, what's going on, family? Let's talk about taxes real quick. Hey, listen, I know it can be stressful, it can be confusing, and a serious headache. But what if I told you that my people over at Redefine Revenue have already helped their clients get back millions of dollars, almost $1 million in tax returns? Yeah, I said it. That's real money back in their pockets where it belongs. You see, Redefine Revenue isn't just about filing taxes. They're about keeping more of your hard-earned money, planning for your future, and actually helping you understand what's happening with your finances. Let me break it down for you. You see, more savings, they will find deductions and credits most people will miss. Less stress. No more last-minute panic or guessing games. Year-round financial wellness. They'll help you stay ahead with expert tax planning, personalized advisory services, and financial education. So, if you're a business owner, a freelancer, or just tired of overpaying on taxes and want to minimize your refund, this is for you. Listen, do you want to make tax season easy and keep more of your money? Then hit up my friends over at anthonyoneal.com/file taxes and let Redefine Revenue handle the rest. And because you're rolling with me, when you sign up using my link, you'll get access to an exclusive bonus ebook called A Guide to Managing Expenses. They'll send it straight to your inbox. But do not wait until the last minute. Every single day you delay could be costing you money. Click the link now and start saving today. Trust me, you'll wish you did this sooner. Here's the deal. Smart taxes equal more money in your pocket. Redefine Revenue helps you build wealth, not just file taxes. Let them maximize, I'm saying this again, let them maximize your return and elevate your revenue. Visit anthonyoneal.com/file taxes. All right, let's get to today's show.
Yeah, and look, here's the thing. Yeah, maybe you guys don't have as much money as you want, but like nothing is guaranteed. You're not signing a contract that they're actually going to promote you. And honestly, that manager, they may think they're doing the right thing by telling you, "Hey, these are the guardrails in which we think you can be successful." But honestly, screw that person. Like they're projecting what they think their guardrails would be if they were in your scenario. That's not necessarily a reality. But what is a reality is your ovaries.
Yep, yep, yep,
You
yep,
know, like that
yep.
is a reality. And I think these are examples of, things that society tells us we can't have. I had a baby before we were even engaged. People would have thought, everyone, "Oh, was that planned? Was that planned?" Yes, it was planned because I wanted to have a baby and not worry about my body and all these things. I wanted to do it. I knew that this was my life partner forever.
Yeah.
And like, we were ready to go.
Yeah. No, that's good. And y'all, if you've been following Morgan, you can definitely see the peace and the joy that she has on her life, right?
Absolutely.
And I think that that's just a beautiful part about it. There's 6 pillars. I want to break those down one more time.
Yeah.
It's because I've passion.
Hmm.
So the world, you hear different thoughts around passion. I want to get your thoughts on this. If your passion doesn't pay you any money,
That's okay.
okay. All right. That's what I
Okay
was going
with
to ask.
that.
You know what I'm saying? Because they're like, but why are you pursuing something that doesn't bring you
Pursuing
any money?
is different than a hobby.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I encourage hobbies. Hobbies are good for creativity. Passions, your passion could be, I want to save every stray dog in Los Angeles. Fantastic, sis. Do that. Okay. That's a passion. That doesn't need to be, you don't need to work at the shelter.
Facts. There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
So you can have passions. And for some people, that fuels them. For some people, it's a non negotiable that
Uh-huh.
they are able to paint on the weekends or have a
Uh-huh.
garden or travel and work remotely. For some people, it's a non-negotiable and that's a priority for them. And they're willing to sacrifice other things so
Uh-huh.
that they can live remotely and travel to Tanzania when they want to. Great. The point is you have to make choices.
Yeah.
And then you don't get to complain about the choices that you have made.
Mm.
You need to be intentional about it. And I think too often people complain about the trade-offs that they're making, the consequence of their trade-offs, and we need to all be more intentional with the choices that we're making.
Man, yo, listen. I like it. I like it. That's like me. I love golf, but I'm not Tiger Woods, so I'm not going to quit doing what I do to go pursue a golf tournament. No, no. I'm with you on that part because I get that question asked a lot when they call into my show. And man, I really love baking, and I said, cool, great. So should I quit my job to start a baking company? Yeah, no. Well, why? Because I don't know if I like your cakes, so I may not
That's
buy
right.
them. It's not an income driven thing yet. But I'm curious though, Morgan, because you're the queen in this area. What if that person's passion is profitable though, right? At
Yeah.
what point do you start transitioning from the job 9 to 5 to pursue this passion that could be a good business with the right strategy, with the right plan put into place? Like, when do you think you start thinking about that and having that conversation
Yeah.
about pursuing this particular passion?
So for people who have side hustlers where they want to take their side hustle and turn it into their main hustle, I have an entire program dedicated to this. And 9 times out of 10, I tell them to keep their day job. And the reason why is because stability, when you talk to those people and you really understand what has held you back, it is because they actually prioritize stability. They're like, they give me all these things, all these responsibilities that they have in their lives financially, with time, kids, loans, parents, whatever. And I'm like, okay, cool. So stability is a huge priority for you.
Mhm.
So there's one of your pillars.
Yep, yep,
Fine.
yep.
You want to be stable, you keep your day job. You keep your direct deposit every 2 weeks.
Mhm, mhm.
You don't care about stability? Fine. Join us on the crazy train of entrepreneurship. But if it's a priority, then you cannot quit your job.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Okay.
that's
What I recommend for those people, which again is like 90% of the people I talk to, I say, where are you spending your discretionary income? Do you have subscriptions? Do you have a luxury car? Do you have all of these things?
mhm,
And how are you using your discretionary income to fund your side hustle so it can grow? Maybe it's time that you actually have a full time employee on your side hustle who's not you. So you maintain that stability and your direct deposit, but you're investing all of your extra money into the business to grow it to the point where it can be stable so that then you're not making a trade off on stability, which is actually a priority for you right now. Most people don't think about spending that kind of money on talent and team And that is the major unlock for most businesses in this country. It's their ability to hire so that they can actually grow and scale.
You just convicted some people. I'm telling you
They
right
need to
now.
hear it. 80% of small businesses in this country have an employee of one. That's a problem.
I, she said, "Do you have a luxury car? Keep your side business. Use your extra income to hire someone to work for you while you're working for someone else to build your side business. That is a strategy."
That's a method, baby. And here's the thing, anyone can think through these. We all have the capability of being able to be strategic with how we spend our time and our resources.
Mm,
The challenge is that we're not taught this
mhm.
in school and we're not taught this at work necessarily. They're not giving us the keys on how they did it. So that's what rewriting your rules is all about.
Y'all, listen. We are going to put her book inside of today's show notes. Rewrite Your Rules: A Journey to Success and Less Time with More Freedom. The book is out for pre-sale now, and I even think at the time of us releasing this, when it's
Should be
actually
out.
going to be
Yeah.
out. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so the link is going to be inside of the show notes, and we're going to also drop all of Morgan's social media and her information, all of her companies, inside of the show notes, so that way you all can tap in and to learn more about her. And we're gonna drop her podcast. Now, y'all, I don't support a lot of financial people's podcasts.
I don't even consider
Um,
myself a financial
but
person,
Morgan,
Anthony.
half of your content is about money,
Because
though.
I think money is the thing that messes people up, but I'm like, "You can do this, you just need to view money as a tool. Stop, like, viewing it as a thing that accumulates." And it's
Yeah.
so funny because I'm just a girl, like, I don't consider myself, like, a financial advisor, I'm just sharing what I do, and I think what's hard is a lot of financial advisors in society have turned this into a business,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and so,
Uh-huh.
sometimes I listen to their stuff, I'm like, "You're probably not doing this, you're just selling a
Oh.
product."
Mm,
So
Goes back what you said earlier. They're giving us the rules that they are not even following
that's right.
themselves.
Yes.
And so I agree with you. You're not a financial advisor, but what I would definitely say is that the financial wisdom that you are giving on your show, when you do give it out, is so practical and it's so relatable. And it's someone who's accomplished as much as what you have accomplished. To say that is so refreshing to me, right? I don't have 7 businesses like you. I got 2, right? So
It's a
to hear
lot.
you speaking on my level, I mean, on my thought process, I'm like, okay, y'all. So this is someone who is successful, whole family, and everyone knows, at least 2 or 3 of your businesses.
Mhm.
And I'm like, and she's saying, yo, you don't need all this. Here's a fun question. Here's a fun question, more.
Yeah.
You're on social media. What is one financial advice that you've heard on TikTok, YouTube, and you're like, okay, wait a minute, y'all. Wait a minute. No, like, and you're like, no, y'all, please don't do this because this doesn't
You trying
make
to get me in trouble,
sense.
Anthony.
No, no, don't name no names, right?
I
But
think
I'm saying, what is one? What is one? I'm curious.
I think one that I am just like, "This is too complex," is the life insurance game. People buying life insurance policies and all this stuff, and I'm like, "Okay, but do you just, like, match your 401k at your company? Like, let's start with the basics. Like, if you have a 401k and your company does matching, do you do that first?" So it's not that these ideas are bad, I think they're just misordered. Like, the advice is out of order, and it is there's, like, things you must do first
Mhm.
that are easy and require very little know-how. I met someone the other day, we were talking about their 401k, and they're like, "Yeah, I do my company matching." I'm like, "Great, like, what are you investing in?" And they didn't know that they needed to then invest the money that was in the 401k, and I'm like, "Dang it, like, how many years have you've missed out on hundreds, maybe $1,000,000 when you totally add it up and all the compounding." Like, we gotta start there.
Yo, listen, y'all, this is why I'm telling y'all, you all need to subscribe to Morgan's podcast, to her content, and get the book. Because I guarantee you, everyone's going to be in the comment section, Morgan, and be saying, he said the same thing. I'm like, you want to do crypto? Do
Fine, do
crypto,
crypto.
right? But it's like,
Do you
if
have a
you're
high
doing
yield savings
crypto,
account?
I was about to say that if you have crypto and you do not have a Roth IRA, you do not have a mutual fund, you do not have a high yield savings account, you do not have a 401k, you don't even have an HSA account, why are you doing crypto
What are we really
right
talking
now?
about?
Right. Let's just get the foundation built. Right. And then my thought is, it's like, okay, cool. Instead of for buying a Louis Vuitton purse, it's going to cost you $1,200. Okay, go put that inside of a crypto account. As long as you have everything else there. Life insurance policy, trying to get, I'm like, man, for me, I don't look at life insurance as an investment. It's that. It's life
Insurance.
insurance. So when I die, this needs to benefit my family, and I need the most bang for my buck. I'm not trying to get that and have some money for myself while I'm living. No, I just go make other investments. I invest into a company, real estate, stocks, bonds, you name it. But life insurance, no, I want to get the most money for the bang of my buck for my family after I pass.
Right.
And it's like some of this stuff that is teaching, I agree with you. I think some of it is just we shouldn't be teaching it, but then the others is like, okay, teach it, but just make sure they have the foundation first. Because I had a young lady come to me. She was 42 years old.
Mhm.
She invested $250,000 into a whole life insurance policy, and then she invested $50,000 into crypto. And she came to me maybe about a year and a half later, lost all the money in crypto, and to only find out that the insurance policy that she had only pays out close to about $185,000. And
Heartbreaking.
so, and I was like, well, what made you do this? Well, I was watching this TikToker and they broke all this stuff down on the whiteboard, do this, do that, put, go get a land trust and do this and to that. And I was just like, oh, okay. And so she was asking me for advice. And I said, hey, I think you need to sit down with a financial advisor.
Yeah. I think what's hard is that there's not a lot of financial advisors that are responsible. There's not that many, actually. There's people in my life where they're like, yeah, I've got a financial advisor. I'm like, let me just see your stock portfolio. Like, let me just see what they're trading. And I'm like, shook. I'm like, yo, if we had just put this in the S&P 500, like, you'd be 2x right now. But instead, you're like mostly flat in one of the best like stock runs that we've had in the last 5 years.
So you have a 15-month-old, you and your fiance have a 15-month-old.
Hmm.
What are you doing now? What are you all doing now to set your son up for financial success
Mm.
right down the road? You said earlier that you're investing into some high risk investments. I'm curious,
Mhm.
what are one or two accounts that, other young couples with young babies should look into to start setting their kid up financially?
The most important investment that I'm giving my son right now is my time.
That's so good.
He doesn't have a 529 yet. I don't pay him out of LLC. I don't do any of that stuff. He gets my time and he gets
That's so
my
good.
fiance's time
Yeah.
and he gets a full-time caregiver as well, a nanny. So that is the best investment that I could give him is that discretionary energy and time that I have and a dedicated full-time employee that works for him. He is the baby boss around here. Uh, that is the best that I can give him right now, and I think because we are financially stable already, I'm not worried about his future. We do have a trust, so he
Mhm.
is the beneficiary of my trust. All my stock and shares in Blavity go to him, everything that I have is in the trust, and he's the beneficiary of it. So, he's gonna be just fine, right? So, I think but the biggest return on the investment is time. And so I spend money to make more time for myself so I can give it to him.
That's so good. No, I love that. That is something. It reminds me of my brother-in-law and Yvette. Um, Belief in fatherhood. They have the chocolate babies. I have three nephews and one niece from them.
Busy.
And yeah, and so when they come up here for the summer months, they would jump in a pool and just, man, the pool is their full-time caregiver for me.
Yeah, I know that's right. When you're at that age, oh, please. Yes.
Right. They just jump in the pool. But one of the things that I love about what my brother-in-law and my sister did is my brother quit his job.
Mm.
And he said, "Yo, I want to come home and raise my three black boys." And he said, "I want them to see their father in their lives."
Mhm.
And my sister was super educated. She was in the school system. And so her income afforded that because if
Mhm.
she would have quit, then it would have dropped the value and the quality of their home. And so he came home and just seeing the impact of that time that you're talking about, being involved in your kid's life and your kids knowing who you are. Man, was just it's just so refreshing to see the relationship, to see even the maturity of the boys. And then he was able to build a huge brand to where he was
Good
able
for
to
him.
retire
Yeah.
my sister. And then now, they're seven figures, wealthy, like you said,
Yep.
and doing the things with the family and the kids are they're blessed. Their uncle is taken care of. They got all of it. Like you said, time, 529s. They're in my trust because I don't have any kids.
Right.
So
So they're the beneficiaries of your
they're the
trust. But
beneficiaries of
here's
my
the
trust.
thing, Anthony. If they had not made those choices, those kids could be wild,
They
and you
will be
can't
wild. Let's
ever
be
get back
honest.
those early years.
You can't,
And,
you know.
there's someone listening to this that's saying, I'm a single mom. I have to work. I'm providing for
Mhm.
my child and I don't have that time. So what do I do? And my answer is you always have time. There's always a trade-off that you can make to involve your child in your life. You got to run those errands, take them with you. They would rather be with you than away from you. And
Facts.
you just have to say, they don't know any different. So my love is enough. You know, you've got to, there are trade offs that you can make. I guarantee you.
Yeah, yeah. I was doing some research on like this kind of book, and when I was looking at the books, I think I found maybe about 100 books that are similar to the approach. But when I was reading about the books from you about yours is totally different. What did you see missing in today's world that sparked you to write this kind of book about rewriting your rules? Because there's so many, help books out there, money books out there, but you're a busy woman, and for you to take time and sit down and write something, that means you saw something that was missing. I'm curious, what did you see missing? What was the void that you're trying to fill, and the reason why people need to get this book?
Most books that are successful in this category are written by white men, and those rules do not apply. So we know this, we're taught this, our parents told us this, and yet we are not given easy alternatives on how to navigate the world
Yeah.
with our own set of rules. And so that's why I wrote this book.
Yeah, listen, and we gonna get it. And man, this is gonna be a New York Times bestseller, y'all. I'm gonna make sure that my team drop this book within the first week so we can
I
help her
appreciate that. I
get
appreciate
it.
all the
And
love. Look,
yeah,
I
no,
hope
we're gonna
that,
get it.
like, if this book can help 1,000 people, I will be happy.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
like if this book can help 10,000 people, I would be happy. If this book helps 5 people, I would be
yeah.
happy because it's already done. So at this point, I'm like, there's only upside.
No, we gonna buy 1,000 books in my community. We sell a lot of books because I don't, like I said in the beginning of the show, I don't have a lot of guests on my show anymore.
Yeah,
Just really repositioning. So I only want high caliber people on my show who are literally coming with practical things to do that align with what I teach. And when you sent me the email, I was like, heck yeah, Morgan, come on, sis. We're
I
family. We
appreciate
know
you.
each other.
I
So
appreciate
I'm
you.
like, let's do it. But anything else coming up that you want to promote? We're gonna get the book. Anything within your businesses that are coming
Yeah,
up
we
that
got a
we need
couple
to know
other things
about?
going on. I would say for anyone who starts reading the book, you can go to rewriteyourrules.com for all of the free worksheets and so that you can map these decisions out for yourself.
Okay.
There's a workbook and everything that's free for people. So make sure you check out rewriteyourrules.com to get access to that. The second thing is we have a set of events that I think are really helpful for professional development and also just surrounding yourself with the right network of people who can help you get to the next level. The one
Mhm.
that everybody knows and loves, AfroTech, of course.
So,
We do happy hours, dinners, events all over the country throughout the entire year. And then our mega event is always in Q4. This year it's in Houston. We got to get you there this year. So let me
okay.
make sure I follow up on that. But it's
Yeah.
in Houston and 35,000 of your favorite nerds come together and we have so much fun. But more importantly, it's a group of people who are like minded, who have the skills and are experts in their field in technology and entertainment and music. And they are sharing and giving you these new skills for
Mhm.
free to you. Well, you got to pay for your ticket to get in. Other than that, don't you walk up in there with no ticket. But other than that, it's all free game. So that's number one. And then two, if you're based in Atlanta, we're doing Blavity Fest, which is for people who are entrepreneurs, creatives, multi hyphenates. So everyone from Tiffany the Budgetnista to my girl Terry talking about trading in the stock market to Ronnie Brown, who I know you know, and of course we have performances by Kirk Franklin and Two Chainz because we always have a throw a little party in there. But that's in Atlanta at the end of May.
Yo, listen, man, all my people, Tiffany, that's my girl, Terry, Gioma, man, big sister, and man, Ronnie, that's my sister. I was just with them. I'll keep my mouth shut on that part. But yeah, that's my girl. So a lot of solid people, y'all, going to be there. We're going to drop Afro in there, Blavity in there, but most importantly, I need y'all to get the book, you
Yeah, I
guys.
appreciate
So
you.
we're going to do that. And yo, Morgan, we love you. We appreciate you. Thanks for coming by the table.
Thanks for having me.